Hello guys, today we'll talk about the most boring movies of all time. This list will not be in any particular order like most of my lists. The only one that was even the list that were made from number 10 to number 1, that one was in no particular order either. Because I find all of these movies equally as boring as the last. And yeah, we'll be going over top 10 most boring movies in the top 10 boring movies. And yeah, number 1, Batman vs. Superman. Good God, this movie is boring. Batman vs. Superman is 3 hours long. I didn't see the 3-hour version, but it must be torture to watch that version. Batman vs. Superman is probably my least favorite superhero movie, and definitely one of my least favorite comic book movies. The only comic book movies that are worse than Batman vs. Superman is Dragon Ball Evolution, and of course Howard the Duck, which is not even a superhero movie because nobody likes Howard the Duck. But yeah, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice is probably the worst DCEU movie. The problem with this movie is it's just so boring. Most of the movie, nothing of value is in this movie. The characters are not that likable, especially Batflick, okay, and you have Lex Luthor. They ruined him in that movie. The most of the movie is just boring. They're trying to they want and they Superman wants to be paid price for attacking Zod, who was trying to kill the Earth. And yeah, this movie makes no sense. Okay, and yeah, Superman is now in this movie they convey Superman is apparently a threat to humanity. I saw this once. I'm never going to be seeing this again. It's just so boring as a movie. At the end, I was finally like, finally, it's over. I don't have to watch this movie ever again. Number 2, Hunter Killer. Hunter Killer is a newer movie on the list. This movie is just boring as hell. The fact that this movie has a 6.6 on IMDb baffles me, because this movie is so boring to watch. Hunter Killer, I stopped watching it halfway through because the plot was just that uninteresting. The characters were uninteresting. And everything about this movie was just uninteresting halfway through the movie. There's really no point really watching this movie because it's just so boring to watch. The characters are not really that great, and there's the fact that this movie has such a high score on IMDb. It just baffles me to this day. But yeah, the critics have seemed to agree with me that this movie is just a boring pile of crap. It really is. And basically, they fight in the Arctic Ocean, which there's a secret cover Russian coup, and wants to threaten a world war. And yeah, there's not really, and yeah, the part, they have to rescue the Russian president. The movie gets boring after like 40 minutes. There's really nothing of interest in this movie. The characters don't keep you going. And yeah, you just want to fall asleep while watching this movie. Number 3. Another movie about ships, but instead it's the past. Command. Okay, it's not Command. Master and Commander. Number 3. Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World. Dear Lord, is this movie boring as hell. Master and Commander might be called the most boring movie of the 2000s. Master and Commander is not a good movie. No, maybe it's just like 2000 or Space Odyssey. I don't have the intellectual, thought to understand the true meaning of this movie. Yeah, this is another one of those cult classic movies. But Master and Commander is really one of the most boring movies in all of history. And people actually think this is a good movie. The movie is just wants you to that makes you want to go to sleep. It's not really that interesting. The characters, again, they are such boring performances, okay? I can stand through non-action movies many times. But I don't want. Yeah, this movie's just boring to watch. The characters and everything about this movie is just boring. And yeah, there's nothing really interesting going on. Nothing really. And I stopped at the point where they're acting like they were going to go to the Galapagos Islands. Well, at that point, I was like, really? That I realized that this movie's only halfway over. And yeah, it's only like an hour and 20. I was like, really? I'm watching this boring pile of garbage? And yeah, Master Commander, the foul side of the world, is garbage. Boring garbage. Number 4, The Postman. The Postman is often considered one of the most boring movies of all time, and I can agree on that one. The Postman scored a measly only 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. Why? Because it's so boring. This movie is just so boring. You have this movie that is basically, they try, his last movie called Dances with Wolves, it was very successful, even winning Best Picture. So what did we follow it up with? The Postman. The Postman is praised by, a cult following audience, and some people told me you had to see The Postman. So I went to go see The Postman, and it's the most boring experience, one of the most boring experiences I ever had to sit through watching. There was really nothing of interest or of note in The Postman movie, okay? There was nothing, there's moments in this movie where basically nothing goes on. And you wonder why this movie has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. Because this movie is just so boring to watch. This movie, like half the movie really. And then there's the other part where it's a love story. Really? This is a movie about saving America from a dystopian destroyer. And what you have to do? Oh, love story between this random person in a sack and the main character, who the love interest is just so forgettable anyways, that it just adds to the tackiness of this movie. And basically, this is about a person delivering delivering mail, and this movie just sounds as boring as it lets on. Number 5, The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi could quite be possibly pronounced as the worst Star Wars movie in history. Yep, that's the Last Jedi. Surprisingly, this has a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. I think that Disney had some hand in rigging the score because not many people actually like the movie. And yeah, but again, a lot of people do hate this movie, but then there's a lot of people who go and defend this movie no matter what. Mostly the critics and the people on IMDb who gave it a 10 out of 10 and called it a masterpiece. And yes, some people think that everybody hates this movie, but it's really half the people who hate this movie. There's the other half who like this movie. And I'm the part of the other half who hate this movie. The Last Jedi is so boring, okay? This movie is boring. It's not fun. It's not entertaining. And this is actually the second action movie on the list besides Batman vs. Boring Man. Star Wars The Last Jedi is simply what... Here's the reason why I hate this movie. Half of the... And yeah, this movie still angers me to this day. But most of this movie is just boring. Even though it angers me, this movie was just boring to watch. I almost fell asleep watching this goddamn pile of shit of a movie, okay? Half of the movie is the Resistance running away from the First Order. That's basically half the movie. There's also this pointless side quest about the casino. That side quest was just terrible. It made no sense. It's just dumb. It's stupid. And you have these characters like Rose Tico that are added and are just so forgettable that nobody remembers them. Other than discussions of worst Star Wars characters. Snoke is an uninteresting villain. Luke Skywalker was turned into an uninteresting character. One of the most beloved Star Wars characters was turned into an uninteresting mess, which shows how bad Disney Star Wars is. This movie is the epitome of bad movies. The Last Jedi is simply just a boring mess that no one wants to watch. And yeah, this movie is a pile of dog shit. Yep, I said it. Dog shit. Come at me, Star Wars The Last Jedi fanboys. Come at me. Number 6. Prometheus. I hate this movie. Prometheus is probably the worst alien movie ever made. You can say Bobo Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Well, I hate that movie too. I also hate Alien Covenant. I hate all three of those movies. The best movies in the Alien franchise is Alien 1, 2, and Alien vs. Predator. Prometheus is just a slow movie. The movie's pacing is just so slow. And this is supposed to be part of the Alien franchise, but the only alien in the movie is at the end of the movie. You have these boring, gray aliens that are just such boring and terrible characters. And basically, it's about these, weird, gray, godlike beings, about their religious beliefs. This is a fucking alien movie. This is not supposed to be about... What the fuck is this supposed to be about, okay? I wanted an alien movie. I didn't want a movie about people discussing, discussing stuff about religion and stuff. It's just, why? And yeah, it's just such a boring movie. The characters are all uninteresting. I didn't care for a single one of these characters because none of these characters are interesting. What made Alien so great is you got to know these characters. You got to know these characters. But in Prometheus, no, we're not going to do that. That's a bunch of bland characters thrown into the mix for no fucking goddamn reason. Okay? This movie is just a disgrace to Alien. This movie makes Alien versus... this movie's even worse than Alien versus Predator Requiem. And I hate that movie. That's how bad Prometheus is. And yeah, Prometheus there simply does a stain on what used to be one of the best film franchises in the entirety of movie history. Yeah, this movie is garbage. It's one of my least favorite movies of all time. This movie was expected to be on this list because of how boring and garbage it is. Number 7. Yep, I'm going to hear a lot of hate for this one. 2001: Space Odyssey. 2001: Space Odyssey is a slow movie, and that's what makes this movie boring. And yeah, 2001: Space Odyssey, so we renamed 2001 Snow Odyssey. And yeah, this is basically a quick viewpoint. A boring and long movie makes a masterpiece. Well, The Postman isn't. We all know that for sure. Postman is even longer. And that movie is just a very boring movie. Okay? And yeah. This is define this movie, I just don't like this movie. I watched it. I was like, really? This movie is considered the best sci-fi movie of all time? Better than Star Wars? And the first 30 minutes of the movie is fucking apes running around in the desert. And people try to tell me, but it's so, it's so meaningful about apes running around the desert. They, discover something, okay? Yeah. You don't get to the actual story until like 40 minutes in. But then you realize there's 2 more hours of this movie. You have to sit through 2 more hours. And then the last 40 minutes is basically like the first part about the movie. It's a bunch of, stuff that, makes no sense sometimes. Yeah, you won't be able to get this movie, okay? Yeah, this movie is, and people will tell me, oh, you are not intellectual, you don't understand 2001: Space Odyssey. Well, I don't care what what these studies say. This movie's boring. And there's even people on the top 10s who agree with me. And yeah, this movie is boring as hell. Number 8. Transformers: The Last Knight. I had to put one of these Transformers movies on the list. And of course, I put the worst of them all. Transformers: The Last Knight is probably the worst Transformers movie ever made. God, this movie is boring. Yep, The Last Knight is just so forgettable and boring. There's the whole twist. Optimus Prime turns evil for the last 10 minutes. The Decepticons are going to destroy Earth for the 5th time. And these new characters are not really that interesting. Okay? They have to go and save the world for Megatron for the 8,000th time. There's a lot of... The final fight scene's awful. And... the characters in this movie are awful, and nothing about this movie is fun to watch. The Last Night was just so boring that I just lost interest in the first 40 minutes, because this is not one of those movies that's just so boring. It's not, and this is supposed to be a I like these types of big blockbuster movies, but this is just like The Last Jedi. It's coincidental that these movies came out the same year, because both of these movies are equally as boring. The Last Night is just a bunch of jobbers put in together, and they called it a movie. Yep, don't want to watch this ever again. And people say Revenge of the Fallen is the most boring movie in the franchise. Well, there was this movie, which is even worse than Revenge of the Fallen and worse than Age of Extinction. Those are, and you thought those ones were bad. Well, this one is the worst of them all. Yep, the worst of them all. And yeah, The Last Night is garbage. It is garbage. It's boring. The story is boring. The characters are boring. And yeah, thankfully Bumblebee redeemed this franchise, and Michael Bay is ridden of the Transformers franchise forever. Number 9. The Lion King remake. Oh yes, you thought this soulless, piece of trash would be on this list? Well, yep. The Lion King remake is basically the Lion King with all of the character taken out of it. Really? This soulless, emotionless piece of turd somehow has a 6.9 on IMDb. How? This movie is a disgrace. A disgrace to the Lion King, okay? It is a disgrace to the Lion King. That's what it will always be called, a disgrace to the Lion King. This doesn't have the title of The Lion King. It doesn't have a title of National Geographic the movie. Because that's what this movie really is. It's just National Geographic but The Lion King slapped on the goddamn cover of the movie. Okay? And these people actually blocked me for not liking this movie. Well, I'm sorry that I got bored of this movie because there's no actual emotion or character in this movie. They sucked up the good things about The Lion King and made it a soulless movie, which is the equivalent of watching fucking paint dry. Okay? And yeah, we're going over some honorable mentions. Fantastic Four. Yep, that movie sucks. John Carter. Remember that movie? Dragon Ball Evolution. Frozen. Up. And Captain Marvel. Yep, all of those movies are boring. But number 10 is X-Men Origins Wolverine. God forbid, I hate this movie. I hate this movie. First of all, they ruined Deadpool. But this movie is even more boring than Fantastic Four 2015. This movie is the least interesting out of all of the X-Men movies. Yes, even more than Dark Phoenix. This movie is worse than Dark Phoenix on every level. And there are people who actually like this movie. It has a 6.6 out of IMDb. First of all, this movie has bad CGI. The plot is boring. The characters are boring. This is a Wolverine movie. One of the most popular superheroes. And they made his origin story so boring. The final fight between him and Deadpool is the most boring final fight in the history of superhero movies. The only other final fight in a movie that is more boring, is just as boring, is the Fantastic Four one. Because that movie is also as very boring. But yeah. And then Batman vs. Superman, that entire movie is boring. But we already went over that movie. That movie's actually worse. But yeah, X-Men Origins Wolverine is just not an interesting or fun movie to watch. The characters are boring. The plot is boring. Do I have to even go for, all the reasons why this movie sucks? Thank God the next two Wolverine movies approved Wolverine way better and redeemed him, especially the Wolverine, which is a far better movie, and definitely the masterpiece known as Logan is definitely way better than this turd called X-Men Origins Wolverine. X-Men Origins Wolverine gets award for one of the most boring movies of all time. And at least it's not as boring as Hunter Killer, but yeah, that movie is also just as equally as boring. But yeah, this movie is just boring. And yeah, this movie is just one of the worst superhero movies of all time. Praise God that you never have to watch this, pile of garbage. Oh yeah, and they also made a game based off this movie. I bet that game is just as boring as the movie. And yeah, this movie is boring. And yeah, that's basically it. Goodbye.